Okay, so the next essay we're looking at, it's everyone's favorite pattern. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Show me an argument. Tell me your points, okay? These are always my favorite ones to write, my favorite ones to grade, because I want you to explain to me what's your opinion and why do you think that? That's the key part of it. Topic. When a country develops its technology, the traditional skills and ways of life die out. It is pointless to try and keep them alive. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this opinion? If you've seen any of these videos before, you'll know this is a question that's come up a lot. A lot of candidates answer this question. So I've marked quite a few of these now, so let's see how this candidate did. Okay, so let's look at the introduction. It is generally believed that development of a country can harm traditional skills and ways of life that ancestors have succeeded, but some people argue that traditional ways of living and skills can remain. I agree with the former statement. Okay, generally solid introduction. This is like a good summary of the topic and the question. It is generally believed that the development of a country can harm traditional skills and ways of life that ancestors have succeeded. I think what they mean is have passed down. You know, succeeded, either you succeed or you fail. In terms of I succeeded in passing the exam, I failed the exam. Or to succeed someone is to come after them. So when Queen Elizabeth dies, Prince Charles will succeed her as King of England. But that's not really what is fit in this context, because we're saying that ancestors in history have passed down the generations. So you got to think of it as someone in history far above you giving you something from the past. Passed down, handed down. Think of your family tree and your grandmother giving things down to you. Okay, passed down is what this candidate really should be saying. But some people argue that traditional ways of living and skills can remain. I agree with the former statement. They give me their opinion. Good, I like to see your opinion, okay? What would have made this introduction stronger? Giving me your reasons why, or your subtopics, okay? So giving me a hint, just in summary, of why you agree with the former statement, okay? So you can do a, due to due to the advantages of technology in preserving knowledge of the past, I agree with the former statement. Okay, so then you're giving me your reason why in your introduction. So that's how that would make your introduction stronger. Overall, I think this is a reasonably solid introduction. Let's give the first point. Ooh, this is a nice size of paragraph. This looks chunky. It makes me think that this candidate, when I see a paragraph this long, it makes me think, I bet this candidate has really extended, supported, and explained their examples for why they think they do. So let's find out if that's true. Some people believe that technology development can be useful to maintain traditional skills and ways of life. All right, excellent. Good opening sentence. Traditional foods in Korea, such as kimchi, is well preserved nowadays. Traditional foods such as Korea, I think, traditional skills can be useful to maintain, have been, it should be has been, sorry, kimchi has been well preserved. I should be. So traditional foods in Korea such as kimchi has been, oh no, traditional foods, I was right. Traditional foods, so it should be have. Sorry, I'm confusing myself. Traditional foods in Korea such as kimchi have been well preserved by technology nowadays. Kimchi is one of Korea's main dishes, which takes a long time to make due to its process of fermenting. Ooh, nice word, fermenting. Our ancestors took longer time and harder labor to make kimchi than nowadays. It took our ancestors a longer time and harder labor to make kimchi than nowadays. It took our ancestors a longer time and harder labor to make kimchi then than nowadays. And it was impossible to make massive amounts of kimchi to supply. It was impossible to make, I think we need this to supply. I really like this sentence, to make massive amounts of kimchi. So every house made their own kimchi every winter and ate it for the whole year. Since then, technology has been improved and kimchi factories could supply kimchi, all around the world and made it famous globally. It would be impossible if kimchi was still made in a traditional way. you know what? I really like this argument. This is a new argument. I've not seen any candidate try and make this point before. You know, they're arguing that actually technology can actually help maintain and preserve traditional skills, and it doesn't always destroy them. So I like this example of kimchi. I like the way we've used specific words: fermenting, labor, time, eating it, factories, you know, traditional ways of making kimchi. So yeah, we've had a couple of grammar issues through. That's fine. They really explained their point. So they've extended it by saying technology has preserved kimchi. And they've shown that by describing how it was made in the past, comparing it to how it's made in now, and then summarizing by saying, therefore, you know, it would be impossible for kimchi to be as popular as it is now if we only use traditional methods. Okay, so this is all explaining one point that they're making to support their argument. Okay, so this is exactly what the mark scheme means when it talks about extending and supporting your points. Okay, so in terms of sentences, I'm just scanning through to see like the sort of length of sentences and how many complex sentences they have. I think, yeah, like they could stand to use more complex sentences. They've got like a couple of compound sentences. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more complex sentences, but their grammar is very clear and easy to understand. All right, next. However, cutting edge techniques are seriously harming our lifestyle. Yep, mobile devices have made us able to contact anyone, any place, anytime. I like this. This is a good use of natural sounding English. To contact anyone, any place, anytime. If you want to add commas, you can do. This made us more busier. Can we say more busier? This made us busier than before, and more stressed. Scientists say that the development of technology made our lives easier, but we are suffering from more stress than people who lived before us. Development of technology has also changed our traditional way of dressing. There were over 200 countries around the world. There are no longer 200 countries. I would say there are over 200 countries around the world, and they all had traditional clothes that showed their identities. And then I want to see an example here. Modern clothes are more convenient than those, but made us wear the same t-shirts and pants. And I want to see an extension of that. Therefore, losing part of our cultural identity. Okay, so this is slightly weaker in terms of task achievement because they've put 2 points together but not explained them as fully as they did when they talked about kimchi. So I would have just liked to have seen her. These are both relevant logical points. I would have just have liked to have seen this candidate extend a little bit more, especially about the clothes. There's a couple more grammar mistakes in it, but I like how this candidate is arguing, and it's very clear and easy for me to follow what they mean. So at the conclusion, to wrap up, technology developed our lives and helped us in countless ways. But it is a fact that it is destroying the traditions of a country that could have had a history of centuries. Now, is this the same opinion this candidate gave us in the introduction? Technology is destroying our traditions. Let's take a look at the introduction. I agree with the former statement. Yeah. Louder. Okay, no, okay, I agree with the former statement. Okay, no, it's fine. I was just being suspicious. It's okay. But the feeling I got from reading it was that they were going to say that they thought that technology wasn't such a bad thing. Okay, but okay, so I accept that it had a fine conclusion. Okay, To wrap up, technology developed and helped us in countless ways, but it is a fact that it is showing the traditions of a country that could have had a history of centuries. Okay, so, you know, I mean, the only thing I would say is this whole thing about stress is not really to do with traditional methods. So I would have liked to have seen this be linked more to something that was more stressful to do in the past compared to the present. So I just think stress is less connected to traditional skills. Overall, in terms of task achievement, I thought they really did a really good job, especially in the, I'm going to keep talking about the kimchi paragraph because it's my favorite one. They did a really good job of extending, supporting, and explaining their ideas. So I would want to give a 6.5 for task achievement. Coherence and cohesion, yeah, I would also want to give a sort of a 6.5 for that. I felt they logically built their ideas. I could follow their train of thought all the way through. The only thing I would have liked them to do was be more explicit with their opinion in both paragraphs. And if they don't agree with the kimchi thing, you know, make some point about how they didn't actually agree with that as strongly. Or in the thing about the technology, just make their opinion much stronger and much clearer that that was the paragraph they were agreeing with. Because as you saw, I got to the end and I double guessed myself about what their actual opinion was. So that's what I would have wanted to see. In terms of vocabulary, I thought the vocabulary was reasonably good. Grammar, I would want to give a 5.5 just because there were sort of more mistakes creeping in towards the end. You know, and there was some more of these kind of, I felt they could have like used a couple more tenses and stuff when we were going through. And I wanted to see more complex sentences. I think they have some longer sentences, but they tend to be compound sentences rather than complex sentences. So that would be my advice as candidate, is to try and use more complex sentences, not just compound ones. But I think overall, oh no, this is maths. What does this come out to? I have a feeling this is going to come out to a 6.0. Let's have a look. I'm going to have to use my calculator. Divided by 4. Plus 6.5. I can't do the maths. I'm sure everyone who's watching this has already done the maths for me. Why is this so difficult? Yeah, no, it comes out at a 6 overall. I was right. My instincts were correct. I think this is a good 6 essay. I think it has a lot of potential to go up to a 6.5. I would just tell this candidate really what they need to work on is more complex sentences involved, and these kind of smaller mistakes that I picked up, especially towards the end towards the end of the essay, make sure that they're picking up on those and correcting those. But I thought in terms of task achievement, very good. In terms of cohesion and coherence, very good. I would have just liked to have seen more development in terms of grammar.